But she's pretty famous, and she's been in the news for bad things over the past couple of years as far as the right half of the country is concerned. Her name is Rachel Ziegler. Ziegler? I don't know. Ziegler. Okay, there's something wrong with this person. She's also known as the star of Snow White and the Disney movie. Remember, she was out like a couple of years ago being like, there's certainly not going to be a prince rescuing me. I can tell you that. And then even Disney got on its heels and they're like, we're going to reshoot the movie immediately. Like, we're going to make some changes because there was so much backlash to her arrogance and just inanity. Well, she's back.
She thought she was rewriting a classic. Instead, she might have just buried it. Disney's Snow White 2025 was supposed to be a bold reimagining, a fresh take on a beloved fairy tale. But what fans got was a jumbled mess of forced messaging, chaotic edits, and a lead actress whose interviews stirred up more controversy than excitement. Now, with losses soaring past the $250 million mark, insiders say the studio may have just created the biggest live-action flop in Disney history. And at the center of it all, Rachel Ziegler. Let's get started. The film was dead on arrival. Despite months of promotion and the power of a legacy brand behind it, Snow White opened to empty theaters. It plummeted to a 1 out of 10 rating on IMDb, something even low-budget indie disasters usually avoid. Viewers didn't just dislike it, they were confused, even disturbed. Critics called it an unsettling fever dream. Others described it as a Frankenstein mashup of half-baked ideas stitched together by reshoots and last-minute rewrites. And the visuals? Some called them cheap. Others went further, saying it looked like a TikTok filter with a budget.
Theaters are, of course, entirely empty. Do you understand that having people buy tickets is an important part of success in your industry? Rachel Ziegler, I guess, didn't get the memo.
Much of the outrage landed squarely on Rachel Ziegler. Before the movie even premiered, she went viral, but not in a good way. Her interviews came off as smug, detached, and strangely hostile toward the very fans Disney needed.
I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess. I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
If I'm in that dress for 18 hours, I want 18 hours of pay, she said bluntly in one clip, prompting immediate backlash. Many interpreted her words as ungrateful, especially considering she was handed a career-launching role in a billion-dollar franchise. Instead of leaning into the magic of the story, she used press tours to attack the original film's themes and fans who loved it. It didn't take long for audiences to turn on her, and they didn't hold back.
Just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
Then came the reshoots, all 3 rounds of them. Sources say Disney panicked after early test screenings flopped, ordering extensive reworks. The result? A movie that felt like it had no idea what it wanted to be. Scenes abruptly shifted tone. Characters appeared, vanished, and reappeared with no explanation. Even the cinematography changed mid-film, suggesting major chunks were reshot months apart. By the time it hit theaters, the film barely resembled the vision they originally pitched. And it showed. The biggest change? They deleted the prince. Disney removed the romantic subplot entirely, an element central to the original story. Instead, they positioned Snow White as a lone future leader who didn't need love or even connection. Now, modernizing a fairy tale isn't always a bad move. But here's the thing. It didn't work. Not because audiences hated progress, but because the story didn't earn it. The rewrite felt tacked on, not evolved. Even longtime defenders of Disney's progressive moves admitted it felt hollow. Behind the scenes, Disney was in full panic mode. As the backlash exploded across social media, the company quietly scaled back its marketing campaign. Merchandise tied to the film was reportedly pulled from shelves. Some product lines were canceled entirely. And for a studio that banks on toy sales to pad box office revenue, that's a very bad sign. Then there's Bob Iger. The CEO, once considered the steady hand of the Disney empire, is now facing serious heat. Shareholders want answers, the press wants accountability, and fans, they just want to know who thought this was a good idea. What made this movie such a lightning rod wasn't just its storytelling, but its messaging. Rachel Zegler doubled down, framing the film as a cultural moment meant to educate younger audiences, but critics say the final product felt more like a lecture than entertainment. The infamous dance scene at the end, with every character in matching white outfits, became an instant meme. Viewers called it off-putting, cult-like, and tonally bizarre. It didn't feel like a celebration. It felt like the movie was trying to prove a point, without earning it. Industry insiders are now calling Snow White 2025 a $250 million warning shot. A cautionary tale about what happens when ideology overshadows storytelling and when a studio underestimates its audience. This wasn't just a bad movie. It was a full-on identity crisis wrapped in glitter and CGI. And worst of all, it might have killed Rachel Zegler's career before it even started. Some are calling her two and done. Others say she's now uncastable, too polarizing for major roles. Whether that's fair or not, Hollywood's already moving on. Instead of rewriting a beloved fairy tale, they tried to rewrite the rules. And they paid the price. Snow White 2025 won't just be remembered as a box office flop. It'll be remembered as the moment fans pushed back, the moment audiences said, you can modernize the magic, but you still have to tell a good story. If you want more deep dives like this one, remember to subscribe to the channel. Because this Snow White saga, it's just the beginning of a new era of Hollywood shocks.